YouTube, welcome back to another episode of Fostering Hope. My name is Erica Johnston and I am an alumni of the foster care system. Today we're going to be talking a little bit about the process of search and reunion. In a later episode we'll get into what mine look like, but today I just want to go over some advice and some warnings for birth families, adoptees, and adoptive parents, and some general advice from my search. So my search actually began when I was 16. That's when I really started thinking about what adoption meant to me and the fact that there were other people in the universe that looked like me, that I belonged to. And it actually took 4 years before I was ever reunited with my birth family. So my process kind of was just like, throw it all out there and see what comes back. So I didn't have a plan of attack. I didn't write anything down. I didn't really talk to anybody about it. It was just kind of kismet. It just kind of came together. And I learned a lot from that experience, and that is kind of what I want to talk about. So the first thing I want to do is talk to adoptive parents. And the reason I want to talk to you first is that you're the first one who's going to have the opportunity to talk to your child about the process of search and reunion, and kind of make that a less scary experience. So I know as an adoptive parent, you have this child that you've been raising, and probably one of your biggest fears is losing them to their birth family. And what I want to say to that is, as an adoptee, one of the biggest things that could have helped is my adoptive parents being reassured that finding my birth family wouldn't mean not loving my adoptive parents any longer. It just would have meant another part of me coming together and being cohesive, a hole that my adoptive parents could not fill for me. Not because they weren't enough, but because that piece belonged to another family. So I have some stuff today that really helped, that I think would be really helpful for you. And the first thing is a journal. So journals are vitally important. I'm sure if you've ever been to therapy, they've said, journal, write it down. And you're like, sure, yeah. No, journaling is phenomenal. This is the best friend that you could ever have. They can never tell your secrets. They aren't a blabbermouth, and you can tell them everything. And sometimes in life you go through things that you just can't share with other people. Whether you feel your thoughts are inappropriate, or there's not a space for you to voice them, journal it. The other thing that these are good about is having a place where you can write it down, right? Where you can look back and you have a chronological report, not even a report, like a self-story of what happened and how you felt about it. You can also write down any concerns you have for your child, for yourself, for your family, without putting that on them. My other piece of advice for you would be, the people that your adopted child came from are not the same people that they are today. People change. So don't go in assuming that the story you've heard is still true. Stories change. People change. So give people a second chance. Give them the opportunity to meet them, right? Because your child, who I'm sure you think is phenomenal, was created from these people. Get to know them. You might see your child reflected in them in beautiful and wonderful ways. Journal. Pick one up. Pick one up that you really like, that you like looking at. My second book that I'd like to recommend to you is 20 Things Adopted Kids Wish Their Children Knew. No, that's not right. 20 Things Adopted Kids Wish Their Adoptive Parents Knew, hopefully. And this is by Sherry Eldridge. Okay, and this book's only $14. Phenomenal. Kind of gives you an insight into the possibilities of what's going on for your child. I loved it. I've read this book multiple times. I still keep it in my cat George, who's come by today to say hi. Hello, George. I keep it in my hutch because rereading it hits me at different points in my life. Different chapters are valid. This is phenomenal. And when you get done with this, go give this to your child. Please. If nothing more, for the sake of reading is important, but because there's a lot of things in here that they will probably identify with. And it gives you such an easy opening to start this conversation about reunion. Talk about it. Do they want to reunify? Their answer today will probably be different than their answer in a year and 5 years after they reunify, if they choose to reunify. Good book. This stuff is gold. And my next advice is this book, okay? Now, this book is How to Traumatize Your Children, 7 Proven Methods to Help You Screw Up Your Kids Deliberately and with Skill. Now, this is a joke, obviously, but why I am suggesting this book is a placeholder in find something, okay? So search and reunion, talking to your kids about it, them making the choice to search or not search is going to be a terrifying experience. It's going to be something that's going to shake up your family. You need something, whether it's this book, whether it's a glass of wine, whether it's a concert or a bubble bath. Self-care, okay? The one thing that you can't do is make this journey about you. Unfortunately, you cannot make this decision for them. This is up to them to make the decision whether they want to search or not. Please don't be offended. Just as an adoptee, it is our birthright to make that choice. Now, one thing that you can decide on that's going to have a profound impact on your child is whether or not you're going to support that search. Support it. It could go one of two ways. It could go really good or it could go really bad. And your child is going to need you either way. And if you step back and you don't support the search, then they're not going to come to you with whether it's a profoundly amazing experience or a profoundly disappointing experience. Support them, support them, support them, support them. The last piece of advice for adoptive parents is find a community, okay? This is not something you want to be alone in. The person I would point you to is Astrid. I'll put her information below. She is a former adoptee herself, and she's also had an organization called Adoption Mosaic where she did trainings and stuff with adoptive parents pre, during, and post-adoption. Really important. So next group I'd like to talk to is going to be adoptees. I see you. If you have found this, you are probably thinking about it, searching. I'm going to tell you, have a plan. Find somebody to support you. Whether or not your adoptive parents support you or not, if they don't, go find somebody who does. If they do, open up to them. Write it down. Okay, just like I suggested to your parents to have a journal, go get a journal. Put it in a safe place where people aren't going to find it. Make it something that's pretty or is you, and write down your thoughts. What do you want out of adoption? Or what do you want out of reunion? Do you want to search? What are your ideas about your birth parents? Because I'm sure you have them. And if you do, which you probably do, have ideas about who they are, put those aside. Because they're not the same people. I guarantee it, people change. And if they don't change, they're dead. I don't mean that negatively, I just mean the only things that don't change is a rock, okay? So give this person who you haven't met yet a chance. The story that you've been told may be true, and it may be untrue, it may be partially true or partially untrue, it may be completely convoluted. So be prepared for that. Also, please, if your parents are supportive, involve them in this. This is just as scary for them as it is for you. So talk to them about your feelings about it. Pick 3 of those things that you wrote down in your journal and go talk to them. If you start the search and you find your adoptive parents, go talk, or your birth parents, go talk to your adoptive parents about your feelings about reunifying. And the last group of people that I'd like to talk to today is birth families. This can be really terrifying for you too. Either you have been waiting for this child forever to come back and find you. Maybe you've started a new life and you're terrified of that being shooken up. Just like I told adoptive parents and adoptees that you're not the same people, the family that adopted them and your child as well are not the same people. They're all different people. Both adults, your children are as an adult now, and your adoptive family that took your child in is also different. So have compassion for them as well, and anticipate that your child is going to have a lot of questions for you, and just try to be open to that. Also find a community. Find a community that you can talk to. The journal, which I'm not going to bring up again, but get one. Write it down. Make sure you have a record of it. You want to remember this. This is going to be really important. So this is getting really long, but that's what I got for you today. Thank you so much, everybody, for tuning in. I'll put the links below to all of the books that we've talked about today. And I just thank you for watching Fostering Hope. Please go ahead and hit the subscribe button below, like, share, do all those wonderful things. Thank you for tuning in, and until next time, have a great day. Bye.